What's good, everyone? So today's video we'll be doing another NBA offseason, but this is the Philadelphia 76ers. So this one wasn't the greatest offseason for the 76ers, but here it is. The first one we're going to start off is the NBA draft. They draft BJ Edgecombe, said his name correctly, number 3 overall pick. Position shooting guard, forward out of Baylor. Stats last season in college, 17.4 points per game. 5.8 rebounds per game, 3.1 assists per game, 1.9 steals per game, 35% from the three-point line. And why did they choose him in the draft? So the Sixers drafted him for his elite athleticism, defensive upside, and long-term star potential. Despite already having Maxey, they took the best player available to add depth and flexibility in their backcourt. Paul George called him a future star, praising his motor and IQ. So I would say this. My thought on this is that this is a pretty interesting pick. A lot of people weren't happy about this because they already have a player already in Maxey. But, you never know. Maxey might be, wanting to be traded somewhere else, or you might want to leave the Sixers, so you always have a backup just in case. Also, maybe they'll add him into the lineup. And I think that's the thing about what a lot of teams are much smarter with now, because if you don't go for the best available player, you're not going to get a good team. If you go for a position in a different player, and you're not really, that big on, why draft them? And also, they might not be able to handle Philadelphia. I've seen this guy in interviews and podcasts and all, and he legit can definitely handle Philadelphia. He loves playing ball, and I think he's meant to be in Philly. And I think this is really perfect because Philadelphia, New York, and LA, and I think somewhat Chicago are cities that are very driven when it comes to basketball, like the media world. And I feel like those markets, if you cannot handle those markets, you're not going to be able to survive. And I think he can definitely handle the market and also playing in Philadelphia. But I think it's a really good move. We just got to wait and see what his role is going to be. It's not going to be a backup guard. But if Paul George and Embiid are out for the whole season, usually, as it usually happens with them, I feel like he's more likely going to be in a starting lineup. But I feel like if they're healthy or one of them unhealthy and the other one healthy, he'd still be a backup guard. But who knows? Anything happen. Anything could happen. So now, key players re-signed. Justin Edwards re-signed on a 3-year deal. Athletic, switchable forward who fits Nick Nurse's system. Still developing, but provides size upside at the wing. Eric Gordon, veteran shooter, re-signed for a 1-year deal. Locker room leader, still threats from deep, 38% from the three-point line last year. Gives playoff experience off the bench. And last but not least, Kyle Lowry, re-signed for another year, still solid as a backup point guard and important presence in the locker room. So my thought on this is that I think this is pretty good. I know it's not the flashiest names, but you always want a veteran type of player, and players are coming in to at least grow more and more. Justin Edwards, still growing, switchable forward, who fits Nick Nurse's system. If you do not have a player that fits a coach's system, it's not going to work, but he fits his system. 3-year deal, still developing, but, provides upside and, a size at the wing position. I think that's awesome. That is who you need, especially if Paul George will be out again. It looks like it's more and more likely Justin Edwards might be starting for the Sixers if Paul George is out for the whole season, which I think is going to happen, but who knows. Now, adding the veteran of Eric Gordon and Kyle Lowry, they're older, but they're very experienced, and they can still drop some buckets depending on how, everything goes. But I think adding those two with veteran experience, playoff experience, championship caliber players in their prime back in the day, I feel like it's still good to have veteran presence in the locker room. Sometimes you wish they can add, some of their former players, like the one that went to the Knicks. They should have kept him, but it is what it is. New signing, Trendon Watford, my apology, signed a 2-year deal worth $5.3 million. Versatile big who can stretch the floor and pass, likely plays behind Embiid and contribute in small ball lineup. I don't know a whole lot about him. I'm going to skip my thought on this player. I just don't know a whole lot about him. Next up, departures. The guy who went to the Knicks, I can pronounce his name, as you see. Gerard Butler left in free agency, and Ricky Council, the 4th or 5th, waived. So, my thought on this is that you should have kept, like I said before, should have kept the big. It would have been perfect for the 76ers to have him. It would definitely help the Sixers maybe be a playing team if nobody's injured. I mean, if everyone's injured. If I can't really give you my thought if he stayed on the team, how the team would have done, or not. We just gotta wait and see how the 76ers are going to be doing good this year. They're so hyped up, in the beginning of the season, and then they just do so bad. But I think they should have added him, re-signed him the money that they should have gave him, and he's not worth a lot of money. The Knicks gave him 3 years, $15 million, or 2 years, $15 million. That's nothing. I know they spend a lot on Maxey, Embiid, and George, but come on, you do have money for that. They should have re-signed him. I think he felt a little bit disrespected, and he left with the Knicks. Gerard Butler, I can see that happening. I think he didn't feel welcome at the 76ers as well. And Ricky Council, no idea, never even heard of him. But yeah. Next up, trade rumors and roster uncertainty. Paul George, there was a whisper that Philly may explore trading George for cap space or draft asset. Nothing official, but his age and contract may make it a key decision point. So, I don't know if that's completely true, but I don't think so. I don't think they're going to get rid of him because his contract is really big, and then he somewhat still contributes to the team in a big way. This is all just speculation. We're not sure if it's true or not, but yeah. Next up, Quentin Grimes, RFA, which is free agent right now. The Sixers are hesitant to match his $25 million a year asking price. League executives think that he's worth around $15 to $16 million. Sign and trade possibility could emerge if negotiations stall. Grimes, I'm sorry, but why are you asking $25 mil? You're not worth $25 mil. You're not. You're a good player, but $25 mil? The center that the Knicks got from the 76ers, he's worth $25 mil. He does way more than you, Grimes. I'm sorry. You didn't do good with the Mavs. You had your little with the Knicks. I see the 76ers, you did good, but you're not worth $25 mil. That's too much. 15 to 18 mil. I would say if you want to make it more fair, 20 mil. To make it fair for him and fair for us, right in the middle. Boom. 20 mil, but wait to see. I feel like adding him will help a lot of the team, but I don't know. It's kind of iffy right now with Grimes. Next up, what is Philly's plan? Short-term compete now with Embiid, Maxey, and George, if retained. Long-term build around the young guys as a new backcourt duo. Flexibility, managing cap carefully to avoid luxury tax and leave room for future trade. So, yeah, the final thought right here, the 76ers have a quiet and calculated offseason. They kept key veterans, drafted long-term upside, and left room to pretty much pivot depending on Paul George's future, with Joel Embiid still in MVP form. Well, technically not really. Tyrese Maxey ascending. Philly is walking the line between win now and retooling for the future. So, let's put it all together. Thought on this is that I think this is a very confusing, interesting offseason for the 76ers. I feel like the 76ers definitely want to compete. They want to have a future. But what makes it very difficult is that their players don't know how to stay healthy. And yes, Joel Embiid, MVP caliber player, when healthy. Paul George, maybe MVP when healthy, which he hasn't been for so many years. Maxey, up and rising star. Jared, the one that paints his nails a lot. He's really good. Rookie coming in, I have a strong feeling about him. Gonna be a really good player. And a couple of pieces here and there. But I feel bad for the GM because his job's on the line, and it's not really his fault because, as you know, I think his name is Daryl Morey. I think his name is. He used to be a GM for the Rockets, but when he had the Rockets team, he was really, really good with the Rockets. Like, the team would always make the playoffs, going deep, but stuff happened. With the 76ers, you put this, the team together, looks really good on paper. Definitely Eastern Conference Finals bound, but don't know how to stay healthy. And it's not really all his fault, because of how the players don't know how to take care of themselves. And that's the thing I don't get. These NBA players get paid millions of dollars to play ball, and you don't know how to stay healthy. Your body is pretty much your job. If you don't know how to keep your body in great tip-top shape, your job is going to be on the line. But lucky for these players, like Embiid and Paul George, is that they have so much talent and they have all this, accomplishments that no matter how much injury they have, teams still want them. Which I don't get that, because Paul George has been injured every single year. Every single year. Even Embiid. It just doesn't make any sense. Now, I think the draft pick, he's going to do well, like I said. The signings are going to help some way or another. How would I grade this offseason? I'm very all over the place. The 76ers are a very confusing organization. If I'm going to grade their offseason, I'm going to grade them a D. The reason why it's a D is because you get a really good draft pick. I think he'll be doing well for the team. You still compete. Just got to watch out for Paul George. You still bring back veteran key pieces and re-sign one of their players. And you still are a playoff team, but the reason why it's not more like a B or A or a C is because you don't know. You have no idea with this team. Paul George looks like he might be out for a long time, maybe the whole season. And Joel Embiid is like, he's not going to play 40 minutes. He's going to play more like maybe 20 each game. Maybe even less than that, because how his injury history is. It has to be a D. I'm not really feeling confident in this team now. Are they a playoff team, playing team, or not a playoff team? Oh my god. I'm going to say playing team. That sounds kind of crazy for most of you guys who are 76ers fans, who are NBA fans. They should be a playoff team, Come on now. PG-13, Joel Embiid don't know how to stay healthy. If they stay healthy, straight up, I would say Eastern Conference Final. Easily. But they don't know how to stay healthy. So they are a playing team right now. Because if Paul George out for the season, Joel Embiid barely played, maybe even gets injured once again, I think Maxey, the rookie they drafted, and I think the guy that paints his nails, I think those guys are going to somewhat get the 76ers into the playing game, for sure. And also you have Kyle Lowry, veteran guard, Gordon, veteran guard, forward, So I think those guys without PG-13 and Embiid are still a playing team. Maybe playoff team, because the East is very, very weak, but I'm going to consider them as a playing team right now. I might be wrong, but let me know in the comments. How would you grade this 76ers offseason, from A being the best, S being the worst? And also, do you think they're a playoff team, playing team, or not making the playoffs at all? And I'll see you guys next video.